So we are finally back with another competitive breakdown. It's been quite a while. I did these back in Season 1, but then Season 1 started to drag on too long, I had other things to do, yada yada. But anyway, I promised they would come back for Season 2, and it's not the start of Season 2 anymore, but it's still Season 2, and they are coming back. So thank you to all of you who have sent in your gameplays. I put out a post on YouTube to you guys asking for you guys to send me your gameplays. And if you would like to send me some gameplays, for those of you that didn't see it, or for those of you that didn't get picked and want to send another one, basically, in the comments of this video, I need a few things. I need you to comment the match ID, which you can find on Paladins Guru, or you can find in your match history. It's the really big string of numbers, it's really hard to miss. Get me that, and get me the character you played, your in-game name, and your rank and division at the time of the game. And that's really all I need. If you want to go the extra mile and give yourself a higher chance of getting picked, tell me what happened during the game, you know, why it should be picked, and what you're hoping to learn from it, stuff like that, and that would give you a higher chance. Also, I'm sorry to say, but this is PC only. I can't really go and watch the console games, so sorry about that, but you console guys should hopefully be able to learn something from this stuff too, because I don't really focus on the mechanics too much. If I notice you're lacking mechanically, I'll point it out one time, but that's about it. I mainly want to focus on the game sense stuff and what you should be doing, so anyone could learn from that. Anyway, let's go ahead and start with this. So the first one of Season 2 is from xxabdelilahxxx or AB Delilah. I don't know, I'm not sure. Sorry if I got it wrong. But he is going to be playing Drogoz. He is Plat 1, and it's on Brightmarsh, one of Drogoz's best maps, if not his best map. I personally think it's his best map. And it's his best map because his counters don't really deal with him as well as they could on this map. This map is so tight, there's a lot of cover, there are plenty of places that he can go to avoid his counters and to just do a lot of work for free basically. So this is his best map by far. It also helps that his biggest counters, the two snipers, don't do well in this map at all. So let's go ahead and look at the teams right now. So we have the Drogoz obviously, and he's with the Xin, Maldamba, Fernando, and Ash. And they're taking on the team of Strix, Grover, Ceres, Ruckus, and Anara. So basically, odd thing out here, one of your biggest counters is on the enemy team in Strix, but again, this is Strix's worst map, and it's your best one. So basically, you don't really have to worry about Strix too much. You can easily stay out of his line of sight and just focus on the tanks. He's no threat to you. Xin can go and flank the Strix if he's too much of a problem, and Ash can also put up a barrier and poke him out. He's not that big of a deal. He really isn't, so avoiding him is your best bet unless there's nothing else to really shoot at. Grover isn't going to be a big deal either. Grover's not much of a DPS anymore. He mainly just does a lot of spread out healing. And Ceres is of course, their main healer. Ceres is going to be putting out a lot of healing as well. So obviously 2 healers, Cauterize is a must. You don't need Wrecker for Ruckus. You should be going straight for Cauterize 3 from the start. But yeah, basically you just want to focus on the Ruckus and the Anara. You're going to be getting out a lot of free and easy damage on them. Since there isn't going to be a lot of pressure on you, you're going to be getting off a lot of easy damage on the tanks, and you're basically going to burst them down for free, at least when you have caught high enough. Once the tanks are out of the way, that's pretty much it. They're your only real threats for the most part, because again, they don't really have DPSs that can do really anything on this map. The tanks are more of the problems because the Ruckus is basically their main DPS here, and Anara, your team doesn't really have the DPS to melt Anara. Fernando probably has Brand and that helps, but again, you're the main source of DPS on your team, you're the tank buster here, so just focus more on them than, the others. Now, this is a lower tier Drogoz, so part of me is expecting the Drogoz to go off and flank. I see that a lot in lower tiers. Flanking Drogoz is not really a thing you should normally be doing, at least not in this situation, again, where there's really nothing you need to flank. And again, you have Xin to flank and you have Ash to poke and stuff like that. You don't really need to be going off and flanking. So, let's see. If that happens, we'll talk about it. If not, I'll be pretty proud. Alright, so now let's get into the actual game. So like I said, you're going to want to first buy Cot, and you want to go straight to Cot 3 before you buy anything else. Against 2 healers, that is imperative. Would it be nice to have Wrecker for the Ruckus? It would, but again, it's nowhere near as important as getting Cauterized for the 2 healers. Ruckus's barrier is only 2,000 HP anyway. Also, your team, for the most part, should be getting Cauterized as well. Fernando probably has Brand, and of course Maldamba is going to want to get Kronos, being a healer and all. You pick up Morale Boost. Not a bad buy on Drogoz, but far from the priority buy. Far from the priority buy here. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, I want to point that out. He primed his salvo before getting on a horse. That's a good thing for all Drogoses to do. Because basically, it just, when you do it early, you eliminate that half a second, like, animation. So when you get to where you're going, you can fire it off instantly. So it's a good, like, simple trick. A small, simple trick for, like, all Drogoses to go ahead and, get down. So right here, what I like to do is on this left side, I like to fly up. I don't want to go like over the edge there. I just want to fly up by the stairs, and I want to look to see if there's like anybody there, and I want to get a salvo off on them. With a Strix right here, I wouldn't normally do that though, but normally on Brightmarsh you don't have to worry about a Strix, so like it's just like a tip of mine to like get a salvo off if you see people coming up on that like left side, because it does a couple things. One, it gets you some free easy damage, that gets you some free easy alt charge, and it puts a little bit of pressure on them. They have to wait for a heal before engaging, so that gives you time to like go to like mid or something and attack whoever's there without worrying about whoever you hit with the salvo on left side. Let's see what you do here. Alright, so you go over. It looks like you're about to flank the Strix, and like I said, Strix isn't really something you have to worry about. He's not your priority. Xin can deal with that. Ash can poke that out. Like that flank right there, this flank would have been normally easily punishable, but Ruckus sort of just got to the fight because he waited and spawned for a bit, so he had some leeway to get away with it. Yeah, like Ruckus is just now in the fight, he's probably dead. One thing I'm noticing, like Strix is going to come back, you're probably dead if you don't reposition soon. Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing. Here's an important thing. You have to keep the enemy's respawn times like in your head. You have to like keep those in like account, because basically if you don't, they could do that. They could just like walk up and kill you when you're not expecting it. So just keep in mind that when you kill somebody, they respawn after 10 seconds. So after 10 seconds, you have to like take that into account and be like, okay, they're coming. I need to move, but I don't want to get jumped. If you have the setting that lets you see both teams on both corners, it shows you the respawn time. So you don't have to keep that like in your head. You just have to like look up to the corner every so often. So right here, this Inara is probably dead. You guys are in a good position. Saris is dead, so Inara's not going to get any real healing. Inara is an easy kill, and this is a risky ult. One, because Strix and Grover are right there. Yeah, one hit from Strix brings you down really low, and Grover should be able to finish you off. It was a good evade, but you could have very easily died there. So that ult wasn't really worth it. I mean, you had the Ruckus like lowish, you had some damage on him, and you had him pressured, so there wasn't really any need to like ult him there with like a Strix directly in your line of sight. Here I saw that you tried to do like a single fire spit, or like a single target fire spit on the Saris. Here's the rule with single target fire spit. So basically you only want to fire spit a single target if they're out of your line of sight, like if they're around a corner and that's the only way you can hit them. Like that's the time you use a fire spit on a single target. You don't want to do it if they're in your line of sight, because it's faster to just hit them with rockets normally. It kills them faster than, fire spinning them once and then hitting them with another rocket. But yeah, this Saris is probably dead. Oh, maybe not, because their team is pushing on your Fernando, so you need to be backing up, like, out the right side. You're probably dead because you, like, flew up, and yeah, you're going to land down here. Yeah, they're going to push you. You have no health. You're probably dead. So, some things I'm noticing is, the flanking is a no-go, and the positioning could use some work. Pretty much, you just want to keep yourself, or keep your tanks in between you and the enemy, and you just want to, like, sort of, like, sit back in mid, or like around mid, and just keep like an eye out for Strix, stay out of his line of sight, and just focus on spamming down the tanks, because it's very important that their tanks are pressured, because their tanks win the fight with your tanks. So I mean, you have Ash and Fernando, they have Inara and Ruckus. Inara is very bulky and can easily take the DPS from Ash and Fernando, at least long enough for Ruckus to pressure them with his heavy DPS. So basically, like every game and every team, it works like a cog machine. And every cog needs to be spinning, or they all just don't spin. So basically, what you're doing is you're flying around, you're kind of flanking at a position, worrying about the Strix a little bit too much, and that's leaving their tanks free to just push in on your tanks and make a lot of space and stuff like that. So basically what you want to be doing is, again, you want to be focusing on the tanks, spamming them down, so like Xin can worry about going for the Strix, or Ash can worry about poking out the Strix, and the Strix won't be a problem for you because they'll be dealing with him. But if there's nobody dealing with the tanks, like Xin can do some pretty decent DPS to tanks, but you are really the tank buster here. That is mainly your job. So that's what you should be focusing on. Because again, if you don't do that job, then it's very difficult on your team. Alright, so let's see what goes on here. Waiting for a heal. There you go. Xin is moving in the Strix. You see him too, but you also see Xin moving in on him. Xin could have easily done it alone, and while you're here with Xin, your tanks are dying to the enemy tanks. Ash is down, Fernando's probably almost dead. You do bring it back a bit. You killed the Ceres, and Anara's probably dead too. I don't know where the Ruckus is, but like at this point your team is staggered anyway, so you know, hopefully you can kill the Ruckus. If not, they still need some more time to get grouped up. But right now, yeah, again, this is another positioning mistake. You are faced with the entire team because you're not keeping your tanks in between you and the enemy. You want to let the front lines do their job. You want to let them take the hits, take the aggro, so you can freely spam off a lot of damage. You don't need to be flying around all the time. There are times to be aggressive and push in, but most of these cases haven't really been those times. I mean, there's the opportune moment to do that. But you have to like look for that opportune moment and don't just do it all the time. Because like see right here, there's a lot weak, but Anara is like tanking for them. Because your tanks can't really DPS the Anara down to get her out of the way. So it just lets the squishies all get healed up. Alright, so right here, your tanks should probably be pushing up a little bit. Just, you know, for the choke. Now they are. So they have the aggro. You are able to get off some like free rockets here. You do got to keep in mind that they can push you on this side, but you're out of the way anyway. Alright, right here. Okay, here's something I noticed. So basically, Xin is going in on the Strix, and you start shooting him as well. Again, you don't want to be doing your teammates, you don't want to be doing their jobs, basically. Because basically, you shooting at the Strix is probably going to get Xin killed, I'd imagine. Yeah, because what you should have been doing when you saw, like, Strix, or, like, when you saw Xin getting pushed by the Strix, is you should have been pressuring the other enemies, like this Ruckus, or this Ceres, or this Grover. You should have been pressuring them with, like, Salvo, Fire Spit, or, you know, just your rockets. You'd be hitting most of them anyway, so they couldn't turn on the Strix, or the Xin. I keep confusing the two, my bad. But yeah, let him do the flanking, let him worry about the Strix, and you just keep the pressure where it needs to be, because they wouldn't have been able to turn on the Xin if you would have just pressured them right here. Like, he'd still be alive. Granted, he probably should have, like, used his cooldowns. If he didn't have them, he shouldn't have went in, but still. Right here, the Anara's probably dead. Alright, you missed a few directs, you know, that's just mechanical stuff, you know, you improve on that on your own. Not really here to talk about that very much. So yeah, Xin needs to get out or he'll stagger. Hopefully he can just get out here, just wrap all the way around. No, he went into mid. He is most likely dead. So guys, if you are last alive, I've said this before in other videos, if you're last alive, like all your teammates are dead, you either need to get out, and if you can't get out, let the enemy kill you as soon as possible or jump off the map. Because if you don't, if you do something like that, you're staggering your deaths, and that makes it so it takes longer for your whole team to group up and get together, and they're really close to pushing in. So at this point, that's kind of detrimental. But yeah, if you just focus on just spamming down these tanks, keeping them pressured so they can't effectively push, you should be okay, and you should be able to buy your team enough time to respawn and group up. I don't know what the Ceres is doing here. The Ceres is dead though. Yeah. Alright, you're weak. It's best to just like chill for a second. Like chilling up here is a pretty good idea. Alting here, it was like a good and a bad idea. So like let me explain this. Alting with low health was a bad idea. Because if you ult as low health, or you ult with low health as a Drogoz, you are most likely 100% dead. Even though you started healing there, it only takes one tap like from that Anara to stop that healing and to kill you. But yeah, you should have like taken like a little bit more time, maybe drop down. If you can't stay up on that like roof, I know you can't for too long, but if you automatically just fell down, you probably should have fallen towards the right and just waited a second and then ulted when you started to like regen some more, so you could have hit somebody. Because ulting to go ahead and take some pressure off of your team by, you know, eliminating like a big target, That definitely would have helped with the push here. It definitely would have made the defense a lot easier. But it's just, you know, doing it at low health was not the best idea. It looks like a lot of ults are coming out here from your team. Unless something crazy happens, I don't see a defense happening here. Ashe still has hers, so she can buy some time. Oh, she also boops them away long enough, so that's pretty cool. But unfortunately, you guys used 4 ults to defend that, and man, that's a lot of resources. That's a lot of resources. You guys have 1 ult, and they have 2 ults, and two that are very close. So they basically have 4 ults. So for this like team fight, you guys are at a severe ultimate disadvantage. You don't really have the resources to take this point. You got to play very, very carefully to get around these ultimates. Alright, so again, the items are pretty off. Morale boost 2, only caught 1, and life rip 1. You wouldn't need life rip if you would just sit back and play safe. Like, this game is all about you playing passively, basically. It's way more rewarding than flying in and getting yourself killed. So let's see what happens here. Alright, you're getting some damage on the Inara. Your Xin is unfortunately dead, but there's nothing you can do about that. He was out of your line of sight. Right here, you should be able to pick up a kill on one of these healers. Nah, Grover popped his ult, so it's best to just back up. And now ults are coming out. This is a good evade right here, but basically, when a Seris ults, like right there you evaded it. So what you should have done is, once you knew that it went off, you should have flown back, and you should have like got some damage on the enemies that were trying to go ahead and push in on that ult. So it takes some of the pressure off your team, and it helps some of them to live the Seris ult. Here you're going for Strix instead, and you're probably gonna kill. Yeah, you killed him, but your team is basically dead, and you can't do this on your own. I feel like you probably will get collapsed on here and die. Like, there's only so much you can do. Yeah. So again, that's something I like to do when I see like a Seris ult. If I'm not in it, I like to pressure the enemy that's trying to make, you know, that's trying to capitalize on the ult. So they can't capitalize on it as effectively. Because again, if they're taking damage, they can't really freely push in on the ult. Alright, but it looks like you're in an okay spot. Never mind. No, it's not. Alright, again, you like flew around to deal with the Strix, and the Strix ended up getting a triple kill. Because, 1, their tanks are pushing in on your tanks and making a lot of room for the Strix to just do whatever he wants. Because they're not being pressured. The Strix would have never got like a triple like that if your teammates were able to deal with him and not have to focus on the tanks in front of them. And again, I think you're going to go for the Strix again. At this point, I don't really want to sound like a broken record. I probably already do. Alright, right here. Big salvo. It kind of gets healed up. It wouldn't have if you would have had more cauterize. But it's okay. You're still in a good position to get off some damage here. Maybe your Fire Spit coming out here. Yeah, that's so. Going for the Strix. You're probably going to die here because you're not going to be able to kill the Ruckus. Not from full health, especially not when you have damage on you. Ulting at low health, again, not the best idea. There was no way you were going to get that off. You kind of just threw away your ult for no real reason there. Alright, right here, this is mainly more to like you guys in general than the player here, because this doesn't really have anything to do with him. But if you guys notice that, like, let's say you're playing tank or like support, and both of your DPS are dead. Like with, okay, Drogoz isn't dead, but he just respawned. But if you notice both your DPS are like down away from the fight, you guys want to back up. You want to get out of there. Because I kind of feel like the tanks or the support are going to end up dying before the DPS get back. I feel like that's what's going to happen. Like, Ashe is really low. Yeah. Fernando is dead. Ashe kind of blew her ult. She's probably going to end up dying anyway. Yeah, there's no saving her right here. Even though you pick up a kill on the Ruckus, there's really no saving her. So now it's the opposite. 2 DPS are alive. Okay, make that 1 and a support. So you guys should be backing up waiting for your tanks now. But you are going off to flank. So I kind of see their tanks pushing in on your tanks again and them dying. Because I feel like you're about to go and salvo the Strix. Yeah. So your Fernando's dead. Their Ruckus is dead. But they still have a Nara. They have a lot more bulk and like sustain than you right now. Oh, no, they don't. Never mind. No, they don't. I didn't even realize it was only Grover and a Nara. Alright, again, so when you hear a Sarasalt, it's best to just pressure the people who are moving in the Sarasalt. Ulting yourself and going to hit the Strix in the backline isn't really going to get you anywhere. Like, your tanks, one tank is dead, one is weak. Hopefully he doesn't ult here, because there's no way you guys are gonna be able to push it right now. But yeah, I don't want to just say the same thing over and over again, but basically, with that push right there, there was a lot of like staggering, a lot of staggering. There was really no grouping up happening when it should have been happening, and again, you know, a lot of flanking. And a lot of not, you know, focusing on the tanks and focusing on the Strix. Alright, so now you have COD 3, and that's very, very good. It should have been the first thing again, but better late than never. Now it's going to be very difficult for your healers to, you know, obviously heal up anything that you're spamming down. Like, the tanks at this point are just easy kills for you. You have the damage, you have the healing reduction, so there's really nothing they can do against you. Because again, the Strix isn't really going to be messing a whole lot with you. So let's see what happens here. Zin's looking for a flank. Unfortunately, he misses his ult. Saris is probably an easy kill here. Alright, again, you know, it was a single fire spit, but you got the kill. That's all that matters. This is a good kill. It's a very high impact kill, because Grover isn't going to be able to sustain all these guys on his own. Unless he ults. The ult could do it. Okay, thankfully you're ignoring the Strix now and focusing more on the tanks. That's good. Oh, you evaded that ult. Another good evade, but, oh, you got a triple. Oh, can he pick up the quad? Nah, he has the emitter, and he had the reload. That sucks. You did what you could there. Like, there's no real way you could have pressured the enemy off that Sarasol, because the people who got ulted were already so low. And Ruckus was ulting, so either way, they were kind of screwed. Fernando should have ulted, though, the second he heard that Sarasol. Maybe picking up the double kill here? Oh, nope, gotta back off. Don't want to get hit by that hit scan again. Alright, you guys got the cap. Very, very nice. Saris is flanking again. I noticed that a lot in lower tiers. It's a lot of characters flanking that shouldn't be flanking. Alright, so you pick up the Saris and the Strix there. I think that was pretty good. Like, there's nothing wrong with going for the Strix if you get something else out of it. Like, the Saris is a big priority pick, because that's, like, most of their healing gone. And he even, like, ulted the Ruckus to get him out of the way very, very quickly. So now they're kind of staggered. Right here, again, the flanking is kind of, like, messing things up when you could be applying pressure to the tanks and keeping up this momentum that you just built off that triple kill. If you pick the Grover, you guys could still be in a good spot here, because you still have... No, Maldamba's dead. Yeah, you guys should be grouping. If Maldamba's dead, you guys should definitely be grouping. You need to get away from this Ruckus right away. Your friend's trying to help you out. Good teamwork there. So now you guys are basically grouped up. Their Saris is now just respawning. Their Ruckus is still gone. You can be easily pressuring them. But again, you're going for another flank. This could be big here. There are like 3 there. But you weren't high enough to really get off the Fire Spit Salvo. That's the thing about Fire Spit Salvo. You need to be high enough to really make use of it, or the Fire Spit's just going to hit something. But yeah, Ruckus ended up, like, you know, killing your team. Because again, there's really no pressure being applied to the tanks. Here, you're probably dead. Unless, like, you're able to fly out, like, right now. Like, right now. Like, fly back the way you came now. You're probably dead. Yeah. This probably isn't winnable at this point. Zin just kind of uses all. He won't have it for the cap. Maldamba's dead, and he's just now respawning. So I don't think it's going to be a winnable point. Right here, at least. But as long as you keep the rest of your ults, you will hopefully be okay in the next point. It's going to be 3 ults to 5 if they don't use any. Yeah, Maldamba used his ult. You guys are in a very bad spot here. There's your ult, and there's Ash's ult, and they have all of their ults. It would be better to get your ult off on a Nara, because Ruckus you can easily spam down. It doesn't have the bulk that like a Nara does, so hitting out the Nara with your ultimate would be the better play here. That way you can hopefully get both of them dead before they can ult, and all you have to worry about is the Saris ult. And Saris, Grover, and Strix aren't going to be able to work off the ult on their own. Not if both of your tanks are still up. Everyone went for the Strix. Alright, let's see. Let's see if you guys can pull this out. Anara's dead. Ruckus. Is Ruckus going to get out alive? Focus on the Ruckus. Oh no. Uh-oh, this could be bad. I don't think he's going to get any... Oh, Maldamba didn't stay behind the field. Feels so bad. I think he can still get this kill. Nah, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Yeah, they might have this. Basically, what's going to happen here is you guys are going to have to like group up and go in for some like final push. You have no ultimates left. And they have one, so this is kind of bad for you guys. Zen could touch if need be. He has the Bellow to touch safely. Yeah, hopefully you can pick up this Saris here. Not moving a little bit too fast to get the rocket on her. And Ruckus is flanking you. Again, you got to pay more mind to the tanks. Alright, so, like, to wrap this up, it's basically me saying, like, everything, like I said during the game. Basically, like, the big problems here were, again, you weren't focusing the tanks enough. The tanks were allowed to do way, way too much. And since they were allowed to push in on your tanks, your Xin and your Ashe couldn't, like, effectively, like, deal with the Strix since you were dealing with the Strix. So, again, it's a cog machine. Everyone needs to be doing their part, or it's just not going to work out. There was way too much flanking. There was way too much staggering. Outside of that, it could have been like a very easily winnable game. Like, you and your team should have had that win, no problem. As long as like the tanks were pressured and like, you know, either Xin or Ashe were like dealing with Strix, it would have went so smoothly. You guys had a lot of advantages here. You had Drogoz on his best map. You had Strix on one of his worst. There were double healers. That means there's a lack of DPS because Strix is their only DPS, and he's not really going to be doing a whole lot on this map. But yeah, I think I've made the problems pretty clear, so keep that in mind for like the next time you are up against something like this. Drogoz is a tank buster. He really is a tank buster, and he needs to be busting them, or they're just gonna, you know, fly in, or they're just gonna fly in on your team. So yeah, that's a competitive breakdown. Thank you for being the first of Season 2 on my channel. Thank you so much. Hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully the rest of you also found this helpful. And that's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate it. Now I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.